Hello everybody, Xword64 here today with a different style of video. In today's video we'll be taking a look at the most recent Kirby and the Forgotten Land trailer that was released, and go clip by clip analyzing it. I've never done this style of video before, but I figured I'd give it a shot because this game is looking to be easily one of the best Kirby games, as of right now anyways. Starting off, we see what I think is the opening cutscene of the game. Kirby hops on his Warp Star and joyfully flies through the fields of Popstar. The rendering engine used in this cutscene immediately reminded me of the opening cutscene of Kirby Star Allies as well. I could be completely wrong here, but I think that the developers used the same engine for the pre-rendered cutscenes. And this can kind of be proven as we can see the cheese-shaped pillars and the rounded hills similar to the same fields as in Star Allies. This trailer focuses on copy abilities and co-op, and for reference, the only copy abilities known since the initial reveal trailer were Sword, Cutter, Needle, Fire, and Ice. Here, instantly we go into gameplay where we can see Bomb, Tornado, Hammer, and surprisingly Crash all in action. Bomb looks pretty well the same as in any other Kirby game for now, but Tornado doesn't look entirely awful to control, and Hammer seems way more versatile and swift compared to past games. In the next scene, we see our first taste of this game's multiplayer. At first, from the game's initial reveal, I thought it was going to be a complete solo experience similar to Mario Odyssey or Breath of the Wild even, and if it did have co-op, it would be similar to Mario Galaxy's Co-Star co-op. But I'm very glad to be proven wrong in this instance, as with co-op, the second player is able to play as Bandana Waddle Dee, meaning Spear is also most likely confirmed as a copy ability too, as when he was first playable in Return to Dreamland, his moveset was entirely based off of the Spear copy ability, and I think Spear was made for him. And here in Forgotten Land, we can see that most of the moves shown from Spear all look the same as before. The next scene shows multiple Waddle Dees being chased by a new enemy, which was introduced to us back in the previous trailer and other related artwork from the game. Cutting back to gameplay, we see what looks to be Kirby's new partner, Elfilin. Thanks to the official Japanese Kirby Twitter, we can get a better understanding of their introduction and to the story as a whole. From what we know so far, Kirby is enjoying himself like normal in the beginning of any other Kirby game, when something occurs causing him to fall into some sort of interdimensional portal. He then wakes up on a beach in this new world described in a Twitter post. The new world is inhabited by an army of enemies called the Beast Pack, a group of beast-like foes who are imprisoning numerous Waddle Dees. At some point along the way, Kirby meets and teams up with Elfilin to rescue the imprisoned Waddle Dees, making the Waddle Dees the main collectible of the game, similar to Mario Odyssey's Moons. We then cut to what appears to be the main hub for the game, or potentially the main base, where Kirby and the rescued Waddle Dees are resting. Thanks again to the official Japanese Kirby Twitter, we know that the more Waddle Dees you rescue, the more your base will grow. You're able to upgrade the base in more ways than one. You can play mini games that give you some bonuses for upgrading your base, and one other use for the currency you earn is to spend it on a new gacha mechanic. From what we can see in the trailer, it appears to be a gacha capsule machine, or a gashapon, where you can insert your currency and receive a randomly decided capsule toy. On the machine, we can see 6 potential rewards: Kirby, Elfilin, Stone Kirby, a captured Waddle Dee, the new fox-like enemy I mentioned before, and one of the bosses from the Beast Pack, which I'll get into later. When Kirby unlocks himself, we can see that in the top left corner of the screen it reads Volume 1, so potentially you're able to unlock different volumes of the figures, or maybe upgrade them to a better ranking if you unlock the same figure again and again, or maybe even multiple waves of figures will unlock based on the game's progress. Say if you get to World 1 or World 2, or maybe constant DLC waves of figurines could maybe unlock more. Only time will tell, and Twitter only provided a little bit of information surrounding it. The last portion of the trailer completely blew my mind as we see a full world map for the game's levels. In my mind, it seems that the interactive world map of Star Allies was a test for HAL Laboratory to see if it would work, and I guess it was successful, as Forgotten Land's world map shares resemblance to that of Star Allies, albeit more refined. 2 new copy abilities are then shown, being Drill and Ranger. The existence of Ranger was somewhat discovered a couple months back when the game's ESRB rating was published with an updated description. The game's new rating depicted Kirby using blaster-type pistols to defeat enemies, with some weapons allowing players to use targeting or crosshairs for ranged firing, which is definitely how this ability is going to be used in a 3D environment. The final scene of the trailer shows 2 more members of the Beast Pack, one unnamed blue dragon, and a new but familiar enemy called Tropic Woods, being a new iteration of Wispy Woods. The Kirby Twitter gives us names for both Tropic Woods and Gorimondo, who was previously shown as the larger ape boss from the reveal trailer. The Kirby Twitter shows off more in-game screenshots showing off the bosses, with our first look at the game's UI, which looks pretty clean in my opinion. Multiple set pieces and landscapes are then shown depicting a snowy citadel or castle, an abandoned mall or circus, and a sandy desert with a powerful sunset. The last shot of the trailer reveals Meta Knight as a potential boss, but he will most likely turn ally since he's been the anti-hero in a Kirby game for years at this point. As I was telling myself for the past several months, Forgotten Land is releasing in March of this year, although a little later into the month than I suspected, but it's still March regardless. Overall, that was my little analysis on the new trailer for Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below because I'm curious as to what the game's story could lead to. If you enjoyed the video, please share, like, subscribe, all that familiar stuff. Don't know what I'm going to upload next, but if this gains traction, I may continue more Kirby videos down the line, but who knows. Either way, this is Xsword64 signing off.